Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here, Anthony Coviello.
Good morning.
How you guys doing today? So this is after Christmas here.
Yeah,
right?
day
It's
after
the
Christmas.
Day after Christmas, we're in a little bit of the lull.
Yeah, man, I'm
Everyone's
into it.
trying to recover.
Little quiet time.
Yeah, I can use some after the rev up of the holidays and all the craziness.
Thanks for making it a busy year.
Well, yeah. I mean, we love that aspect of it, but whew, it's good to take a little break, a little breather, right? We got a little bit of breather today.
Yeah.
We were just talking. You had somebody come in that made a connection with you musically,
Yeah, it's cool,
right?
because when somebody likes something that's maybe off the beaten path and you're used to, it might not be off the beaten path for you because you're already into it.
Right.
But when somebody
But it's not the big thing that's out there, right?
exactly,
You know what I mean?
somebody comes in, they ask for something. I saw something in a girl's hand, and immediately people are like, "Oh, it's a chick." That's the only reason you give a fuck. No, I saw a
no,
Mike Nesmith
yeah.
record in her hand.
Right.
And you think, holy shit, it was tantamount to treason. Whoa.
And how old was the person?
I can't tell ages anymore.
No,
she
but
could
I
have been
mean-
17, 27, or 37. She wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but not somebody that is the age of Michael Nesmith.
No,
Right.
definitely
So
not.
you kind of go.
Somebody
How, how did you discover that? Becomes my
Yeah,
fascination.
she's under 30.
Yeah.
So this is where music transcends. It's got nothing to do with whether you have a, whatever penis or a vagina.
Right.
Can I say that?
Sure.
Okay. Has nothing to do with what you are, what you like, what you want to be. It has to do with a common ground, and that common ground is two people being moved by the same thing that a lot of people aren't moved by.
Well, yeah, exactly. Two people being moved by the same thing that a lot of people aren't being moved by.
It's
That's
awesome.
That is awesome. I wore in a video a couple days back. It just says Juju Hounds, and I don't know if that name rings a bell.
Yes, it
but
does. Izzy Stradlin.
That's right. So in 1992, he puts out, and the album says Izzy Stradlin and the Juju
Yes.
Hounds. But I went and saw them live in
And they
'93.
had a Juju Hound shirt.
They just had.
I love it. Without
I
his
know.
fucking name
That's
on
what I
it.
mean. Didn't have the name. Just says Juju Hounds.
And a
on
lot
it.
of people won't know what that is.
Right. But several people watching the video chimed in and were like, "Oh my God, that's a killer shirt," right? Because they're huge fans of that album too. And I loved that there were people who knew who that was. Again, without that being a major album. I mean, yes, Izzy is a big name, but that
still, a
album
lot of people
never-
don't-
Yeah, they don't know who the Juju Hounds are,
No, so it's cool, man.
right?
And that's where almost sometimes when a band gets too big and everybody likes it, that's why we start to like, all right,
Move
fuck
up.
this band. We shy away from the band because it's
anytime-
no longer
Yeah. Anytime somebody wants
Yours.
to talk to me about Led Zeppelin, I'm sort of just like,
Anytime somebody wants to talk about Motley Crue, I'm just like, eh.
right? Right? Any of those big major ones. But I'm kind of that way too with all those. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to sit around. I'm wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt right now. I don't want to sit around and talk about Guns N' Roses or Def
Unless they
Leppard.
put out a kick-ass new record.
Right. Then I would talk about that.
I don't want to talk about Pearl Jam. They put out a kick-ass new record. I want to talk about it.
We did.
Yes,
When
'cause
the
that record
Dark Matter came out.
kick-ass.
You and I never speak about them, although I know they're a big major part of your life.
Yes.
Right? And I love them, not to the degree I think you do, but when that new album came out, you and I talked about it.
Time to throw the shit around.
I was taking a train to work. I don't
Yes.
know what you were doing, but
I was sitting home probably taking a crap.
We were texting back and forth, and usually, I text 3-4 times, that's it. And it was like, no, man, we did it for like the whole
Yes.
hour I was on the train. Then I come in the store a couple days later, we're talking about it
Yeah.
again. And we brought it up many times, but that was because we connected on this record.
Yes.
We thought it was a great album from them after a couple albums not being up to par, maybe.
Yep.
And that
And
was
we don't even agree on what albums were and were not
Right,
apart, which
right.
is great. But
But we both
this,
thought
we
this
both
one-
love Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Whatever the wavering in and out over the years, and
Right.
then boom, this was
It-
another common ground.
Yeah, he hit
Right? How
all the
cool is
marks.
that?
He hit all the
Yeah,
marks
for both of us at the same time.
Right, and like you said, and we both normally think differently of the band. Our favorite albums and of the most recent ones. I love the last, or not the last one, but I like the one right before it, Lightning Bolt.
I love Lightning Bolt. I just don't like the song Lightning Bolt.
Right. Okay.
But weren't you a Backspacer fan?
And I'm a Backspacer fan. I love that album. Right. But
So-
then Gigaton, I couldn't do. Wasn't? Did you? Oh, okay. So yeah. But there's a lot of people I know that love that one.
Good stuff on Gigaton, not
Yeah.
great stuff on Gigaton.
Yeah. But I know I love making those connections with people, the unexpected ones,
Yeah.
the ones where
Music transcends time,
Yeah.
age, and sex. And none of it matters.
it doesn't.
And to the people who think it matters, or the people who think it matters to other people, those are the people that are just dicks.
Yeah,
That's the negativity. There's a
is.
point of
yeah,
a topic
right.
that you had brought up was negativity. Why are people so negative?
That is true. I mean, why do people focus on negative aspects? Why do
Yeah.
people focus on
Makes them feel better, makes
a
them feel
band
heard.
not being what they once were, instead of looking at a new release for what it is? It's the band today.
Maybe it's up to us to show them that. Sometimes it's up to
Yeah.
us to show each other that, or to show ourselves that.
That's true.
Because there's times I get in the fucking run, like you said this morning.
Yeah.
I was just shitting on everything, but I wasn't shitting on it. I'm just
No, you were-
every band that got mentioned. I'm like, I fucking can't stand that
That's
band
right.
either.
Right.
Can't
right.
stand that band.
People call up for something, or I brought something up, and one of the other guys working here brought something up, and it was like, yeah, it just wasn't your.
There were 0 bands brought
Yeah.
up today that I have an interest in,
except Blondie.
except Blondie. And who
Right.
brought her up?
You
Them
did.
up.
That's right.
Who brought them up?
A new 10 CD live radio broadcast.
Bootleg.
Basically
Bullshit.
bootleg. I mean, it's legit because it's radio broadcast.
Yes, but it's not their
Right,
release.
but it's not
but
their
still
thing.
cool.
But it's still cool.
But yeah, so but then when I realized when you phrased it the way
Right.
you phrased it, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to be negative.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing to do is just shut the fuck up until you're asked. And then when you're asked, then
Right,
you can,
right.
and then somebody says, "Oh, you're being a dick."
Right,
You
right.
Don't ask me a
Yeah.
question.
Okay, but I will just I don't know, to support you in this. You're essentially at home. This is your store, but you're at home here, right? You're allowed to have all the opinions that you
You're
have
right.
here. So
But-
so it's different. It's different than if you were shopping here and you were just shitting on every person who comes in the store and is
Okay.
asking. You know what I mean? That's
But
how I feel about it. At
You,
least.
you, yes,
Yeah.
you're correct, but I don't want to even take it that far. I
Right.
want to be the same person I am anywhere I go.
Yeah.
Because
Different days.
this is
different-
everybody's home.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to make sure that that's instilled.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
The only thing, I mean,
I
it's
come
my
here to
home,
hang out.
it's your home, it's
Yeah.
their home,
Right?
but the only place that's really my home is my home.
True. But you're never mean about it. I mean, even this morning when you made some cracks and stuff, you were laughing.
I think the Rush thing, I just went, ugh,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
you and Vito looked over, and I'm like, I just
Well-
can't stand that fucking band.
Vito, one of the gentlemen that appears on my videos, came in and said he was on a Rush kick, and then Anthony immediately goes, "I'm sorry."
Oh, yes, I said it in a funny
But
light.
it was funny and it's lighthearted. Yeah.
And then the question is like, what do you mean?
Right,
Well,
right.
I just
Yeah,
don't
you're-
like Rush.
Yeah, you're not a fan. Right, but you weren't mean about it.
I did not dig.
Right, exactly. And so that's, I don't know, that's why it never bothers me when I bring up something about a glam metal.
We're
band or
usually pretty
whatever.
good.
Yeah, we're good about that stuff. And I think we're good that way on camera.
Yeah.
Too, with the things that we talk about here. But that goes back to how it is and why I think we can find the common ground on so many things musically with people. Because we're not dicks about it, right? When somebody is really into something, we can at least look at it and go, wow, that is cool. That's cool that you're into it. I might not
Tell
be
me
into it.
why you're into it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me why I should be into it.
That's one of the things you taught me this last year. We may still do a year into wrap up, but I have to say the biggest thing you taught me this past year is the whole people want to talk to me about stuff I don't care about. But you said the way you handle that is you turn to them and ask them why it is they love it so much.
Yeah.
And I thought about that and I said, gee, that's actually really interesting because at least that way they're telling me. It's not me having to tell them why I don't like something or I don't talk to me because I don't like something. And at the same time, you never know. They might change your mind on something.
Because they're not trying to force
Right.
it down your
Throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But making those musical connections with
It's huge,
people,
man.
I live for it. I love that
Especially,
stuff.
you know,
so
and-
yeah, you have them back.
So the Nesmith for
There
this
you
girl
go. Right,
Alyssa, right?
Yeah.
So these are the first 3 Nesmith records.
And they're out of print.
Out of print.
Mm-hmm.
I love all 3 of them.
And which one did she come in and she was Bond?
She bought the Mike Nesmith Tantamount to Treason,
Okay.
which was, I believe, the Mike Nesmith and the second national band.
Okay.
Google it. It's the best
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
We're not going to get into
Right,
Mike
right.
Nesmith's band names.
No.
But these are the first 3 Nesmith albums. And when I saw her with it, now these have been waiting in the wings that I'm either keeping them because they're doubles, probably triples of my own personal copies.
Right. We're gonna have to talk about that, about different pressings and you collected. People ask all
These
the
are,
time.
but they're all the same. These are, I have Rockaway
you
pressings
just-
at home. These are first Rockaway pressings.
Okay.
Not Indianapolis,
All right.
you know, which doesn't make it
That's a
right,
whole- yeah.
whatever. But why do I have 3 of them?
Look how excited he's getting. It's awesome.
But when she was so excited that somebody knew the record,
Right.
and I saw the light in her eyes, I said, you know, do you need more?
Yeah.
And she said, yes. And I
Right.
said, I have more.
You have it.
And she
right.
said, I want the more.
And it was time to pass it on.
And I said, you know what, man? I gotta put them in the store.
Right.
It's time.
Right. I hear
I've
you.
been holding on to these for over a year, at least.
I'm that way too sometimes. I've got stuff in my collection. I'm thinking it's not moving me. It's not doing whatever. And then I hear somebody and someone's diehard looking for something. And I go, you know what? I could part with it. I'll let the person have it who enjoys it.
Yeah.
It's not often. I love to keep all my stuff. But occasionally there's something in there. You know.
And you know, so I don't give a shit about Rob Zombie. First White Zombie album, I love it because it brings me back to a point in time. But to me, it's not good.
Okay.
There's great stuff on there, but it's just eh.
Okay.
But
and is
Rob
that the
Zombie-
We Die Slowly? Or you're talking about the first one, La Sexorcista?
La Sexorcista.
Oh, okay, that's not the first album.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay. But I know what you mean.
Yes.
First major label.
Yeah,
Right.
because before that, you know,
Yeah. They're,
nobody knew who the fuck White
no,
Zombie was.
Exactly.
So Rob Zombie had an interview one time because when I discovered he was making films, and I thought I think he's an excellent filmmaker.
Yeah, yeah.
He's great. I
Right.
think he's a smart man. I have so many good things to say about him. His music just.
Yeah, as a
I
graphic
don't
artist,
give
he's
two
amazing.
fucks about horror music. That's it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it doesn't. There's nothing that
Yeah.
you can do to change it. But he mentioned this record,
Okay.
and because it was an interview about the pros and cons of streaming versus buying, and this is when streaming first was big. So
Like early
we're talking
2000s?
mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And he made mention of this, saying, "Well, the good thing about streaming is I can get Magnetic South by Mike Nesmith."
Because it's been out of print.
And at that point in time, I just was not aware of the amount of material Nesmith put out
Yeah.
pre-Infinite Riders on the Dogma,
Yeah.
right? I think I got that name right. So late 70s Nesmith I was all about. The early to mid, I didn't know this shit existed
Yeah.
until Rob Zombie. And I went on and I downloaded immediately from iTunes
Right.
back into...
So you had it available because of that.
Yeah, and it was
Right.
never. There was no CD versions of this at that time.
Right.
And then I just went out and bought them all on record, and now every time I see them, I buy them. So it's one of those things that I just have because when I found out, it was just like, wow, and I fucking love this
Right.
record, and I love this record, and I almost really love this record.
Right.
You know, I love them all.
And part of that too is just the good experience, the good memory of how that happened.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the story that you tell about Great White in their Can't Get There From Here album, where you heard Rolling Stone on the radio, pull over, come to the store to buy it, and you wouldn't think you would be buying a new
Great White album in '98,
but you did.
but I did, and it was marvelous. One crappy song, maybe.
Right. But more than just how good the album, well, maybe the story is what it is because the album turned out to be so good, right? But either way, you heard a song on the radio that you didn't know what it was until they said, oh, that's the new Great White. And you're like, what? Right? Those kind of experiences are amazing.
Vito, were you a Great White fan?
No.
I feel that we had, I'm almost
Yeah.
sure that Vito and I around that time had a conversation about that album. And he said, Great White, what?
Yeah, no, I could, as much as I think Jack Russell is a really good singer.
Just didn't like it.
I just
Ah.
I had Great White hit or misses, but
I'm a
Can't
huge-
Get There From Here is
Right. I
marvelous.
I loved that album, and it was a great sort of return to form for them, just doing some straight ahead rocking and rolling, you know?
Yeah.
But to make those connections, and then when I found out that you were a fan of that was just one more thing.
And at the time,
Yeah.
I had nobody that agreed with me on that record.
Yeah.
Zero.
Huh.
Nobody gave a shit.
Right? See, I would
Nobody-
I love to have run into you at that time because I agree. Yeah, no one at that time cared about Great White.
Yeah.
And if we could have found each other and been like, oh my God, this later era album is so good, right? Well,
Yeah.
we found each other now.
Yes, that's all that matters.
And we frequently have some cool, crossovers
Yeah,
like those
man.
on albums that I wouldn't think you'd be into at all.
I still get it still baffles my mind that you think that about the Motley Crue Decade of Decadence.
Yeah, I
How
still.
excited I was when I got that.
When you told me, you're like, oh man, I finally found this. I want to go get this. You want to go to the record store with me? Great. And then it's like, oh, what are we going to pick up? And you're like, Motley Crue Decade of Decadence. And I was like, you're a Motley fan? And that changed everything for me because I'm a huge Motley fan. So I was like, Anthony's stock went up a little bit. I was like, okay. But anyway, so, we just wanted to talk a bit about that here and, those cool moments that you connect with something or someone on something that isn't the big popular thing that's out there. And how cool that is when you make that connection with somebody. And I'm sure you guys have experienced that a lot out there. Tell us what those albums are or things are that you had a connection and it's not the popular thing. It was the underdog or the thing that flew under the radar, the thing that you still love to this day, and yet maybe it's like Fly on the Wall for me and AC/DC. I love that album, and I hear from you guys all the time. Certain ones out there, favorite album as well, and yet it's
I
one
like
of their
Fly on the Wall. It's a fucking massive album.
But it's one
I
of
love
those
the shitty '80s production.
Yeah,
everything about it.
But it's one of those albums that generally is always at the end of of their somebody's ranking or whatever, and yet there's some of us out there that love it. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.